to make us go live. We're live.
Yeah, I was just about to do it.
Are we did it. We're live. Okay. I just forgot about the delay, but yes. Okay. So we have the Ask Us Anything panel. So the in-person chapter one people are going to have to rearrange where they're sitting. Oh, there you go. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be asking a couple of questions. We're going to have some pre-prepared questions. I have some, I'm sure Emma has some, and we're going to be answering them in alphabetical order by first name. So first Ananya, then Cam, then Crystal, sorry, my brain is tired. Then Ennis, then Miranda. Yes, I know how to alphabetize. Okay, so yeah, so we're gonna just, if everyone's ready to go, just turn your mic on when you're answering. And then, yeah, so to introduce our speakers to any people watching remotely, we have our speaker, Ananya Devarajan, who spoke earlier today about querying. We have Ennis Rook-Bash, who spoke about writing what you want. We have our keynote speaker, Cameron Garrett, and we have our panel speakers, Miranda Sun and Christelle Thompson, and we have me and Emma facilitating questions. So to start off, if you want, you can go around and give a quick introduction. Just, you know, if you want to like promote your book or wherever another time for any listeners. I know I'm sure lots of you have work to promote. So we'll start with Ananya and then we'll go in alphabetical name order. So yeah.
Okay, hi everyone, I'm Ananya. I'm a young adult romance author and my debut novel, Kismet Connection, is coming out from Inkyard Press in summer 2023, which I know is pretty far away, but I'm excited about it. And I am also a university student at UC Irvine studying neurobiology.
I am not studying anything as impressive as neurobiology. I'm a film student at NYU. Oh, my name's Cameron, and my first book, full disclosure, came out in 2019, and my second book, Off the Record, came out in May.
Oh, I'm Christelle. I'm a recent graduate of creative writing from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. I write both poetry and prose. I feel like that's all that that's it.
Twitter, graduate creative writing award, and fluent in 3 languages. It's fine. Sorry, she's my best friend.
Well, wait, who's next?
Ennis, right?
Oh yes, Ennis is next, yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm next. I was just posting a meme in the chat about how I'm really bad at alphabetical order. It's the confused woman with math meme.
Yes.
My name is Ennis. I use they, them pronouns. I am a NYU graduate student at the Silver School of Social Work. And my debut novel, A Scheme of Sorcery, which is about 2 petty lesbians who really hate each other and have to team up to save the country from evil wizards, is coming out in 2 weeks, which that's wild.
Oh, exciting.
Can't wait.
Hi.
Oh yeah. And then Miranda, yeah.
Hi, I'm Miranda. I'm a 2023 Shores mentee. I'm a former intro reader for Night Better Online. I'm writing recognized Writers Alliance of Gainesville, as well as nominated for 2 Pushcart Prizes. And my writing is published in Red Queen and Blue Mark Review and Grove City Press, among others, and I'm represented by Paige Trillium and Andrew Brown Grade.
Okay, sounds good. So thank you everyone for introducing yourself. Okay, so all of you were giving lots of different writing and publishing advice today in your different workshops and lectures. So my first question would be, if you have to come up with the best piece of writing advice you could give and or the best piece of writing advice you've ever heard, If you can't think of the best one and you're gonna say 5, that's also fine. And if you say I can't think of any, just make sure to not die. I don't know. You can do that as well. So we'll start off with Ananya, if you can think of anything off the top of your head, I guess.
Going first is harder than I thought it would be. Okay.
Yeah.
Backwards after this. If you
God,
want.
back and forth.
Yeah,
Um,
back and forth. So we're just gonna bully Ananya and Miranda.
Okay.
I think the biggest one for me that I've really liked as writing advice is allowing yourself not to write every day. It doesn't make you any less of a writer to take breaks and to sometimes not write for a little bit longer of a time. In fact, it helps you avoid creative burnout. So allowing yourself breaks and allowing yourself the kindness to not write is really important.
I would say my mind is empty. I would say it's not bad if you, so I used to be like really like, every time I got edits, like really substantial edits from either my agent or my editor, I'd feel like I wasn't doing the work, if that makes sense. I would feel like they are the ones who are actually shaping the book and I'm not, and I don't think that's actually true. So if you ever feel like taking too many suggestions and actually like following through with them means that you're not an actual writer or a real writer, that's not true. And taking notes and revisions just makes your work stronger.
My best writing advice is to read. That's it. To be a better writer, you got to read other writers' writing. There's only one way to learn, right? And well, I mean, there's multiple ways to learn, but there are multiple ways to learn. But I feel like the most expedient path is to like learn from your peers, learn from those that you look up to, absorb things from people who you are like, God damn, I wish I could write like that. And like the more you read, the more you interact with their work, the more you try to introduce aspects that you like from their writing into your own, is how you see like evolution, is how you see, you know, like going from like, I started writing when I was what, like 10, like bullshit, like fake James Patterson ripoffs. And now like I write poetry and I write prose and I write CNF, and it has nothing to do with any, like, I took things that I saw that I liked, and then I like put my own spin on it. And I feel like I only got to do that because I kept reading.
Oh, I would say the most useful writing advice I've gotten is from Michael Underwood in a class called Empathy, Emotions in Action Scenes, which is that like action scenes need to go beyond being like choreography, like who does what when, because, and this is a direct quote, the biggest thing we have in fiction is the ability to enhance storytelling through interiority, like to share a feeling with the reader. So it's not just about the visuals, and that's how writing is different from movies and TV shows.
I have advice, and this is just what I learned. I used to daughter who said this. I tried to look it up in the literature. I couldn't find it. So in any case, my summation or paraphrasing is the novel is kind of like an essay and a thesis is to make the reader believe what these are real people. So what you just want to do is to add detail, the little things that make your character come to life and just stick in your audience's mind and live rent free. So it's more than just making your like your or making your character like have a habit like I don't know like smiling too much. I remember one body of a fish tank from the reading cycles that Kansas found his lip pensively. I thought when I first read that, that just stuck in my mind so much as such a unique character trait.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so I have some more questions. Emma, if you have any questions to ask, feel free to like cut in, but I will start with my next question, which is okay, I thought is everyone here that is supposed to be here? Yeah, okay. The Zoom just rearranged itself. Okay. So next question, what is a big writer goal that you achieved that you're excited about? And what is one that you're still looking forward to?
Okay, I guess I'll
I
start.
You can start if
I
you
don't
want.
care.
Oh,
If we wanna go
either
back.
Rose.
Do we want to go backwards? So from Miranda?
Yeah, you got it?
We can start. And Miranda, be sure to speak up because I like there's some issues with hearing. It's just like the mic, but yeah.
Okay, one thing that I recently achieved this year was signed with my agent. He was wonderful, and that was really cool. And one thing that I would like is to maybe put a book in a like book crate box, like I'll write or very with bunches of like ghosting merch, and it's like it comes out in October or something. I think that would be cool.
The dream.
Mhm. So Ennis is next then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a writing goal that I have that I've achieved is to get my poetry published in some of the publications that I enjoy reading, like Strange Horizons. And a goal I'm still chasing is like, I want to go trad pub. I want an agent. That seems so cool.
Mhm. Yeah.
A writing goal that I did accomplish. I don't know if it was like this year, but like in the previous years, obviously winning the undergrad creative writing award, winning the junior Quinn, that was super cool. Like shout out U of I for that one. Something I've yet to accomplish or like want to accomplish. Definitely a pipe dream, but I would like to get a poem published in the New Yorker at some point, you know. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see how the cookie crumbles.
You can do it. Then it goes to Cameron.
Thank you, because I can't do this backwards. I can barely do it.
Okay, I have a list right next to me, so
That's
I'm-
amazing. Okay, thank you. So one goal that I've achieved.
Still has brain cells. Okay. Anyway,
Wait, what?
I'm praising Joey for still having brain cells.
Oh, honestly, an icon for still being able to do this. I would say a goal that I've achieved is being traditionally published, and something I'm still working toward is I want to try to write an adult book, but I don't know how to do plot, so I'm trying to figure that out.
Okay, so I guess a writing dream that I recently accomplished is getting my book deal. It like made my entire life. I'm still kind of freaking out about it all the time. And I guess one writing thing that I'm really excited about accomplishing in the future is I really want to commission an Indian artist to create an Indian cover for my debut. And just seeing like a brown girl in a lehenga on the cover and being it like traditionally published is just, it would be a dream come true to see that happen.
I want this for you.
Mhm.
I can see it in my mind's eye, and it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Can I jump in with a question?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So my question is this: what is your favorite character who is the protagonist? So like the person that we're supposed to root for, I guess. And what is your favorite character who's antagonist or like maybe kind of a bad person? I'm not looking for like a Zuko who like redeems themselves. I'm looking for like a well-written, like this person is irredeemably bad, and this is how they are portrayed as being irredeemably bad. Like your favorite of each of those things, and like kind of why. You can ponder it for a second. I can also give mine. That would help you.
Also, are we going in alphabetical order? I want to make sure.
We're going back, so we'll start with Ananya.
Yeah.
Can we stop switching back and forth between everyone? I think that's what's tripping everyone up. I feel like if we just
Yeah?
stayed,
We just cycle.
I'm
Okay.
too dyslexic for that. Sorry.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I-
we'll just do regular alphabetical order, and I can shout out the names of the authors going next if you want.
I was like,
No, it's fine. And I can be the buffer. So if people need time to think, I can just give my answer to the questions, and then you guys.
Oh,
can-
okay, sure.
Can you give your answer, please? I am struggling.
Yeah, go ahead. Em.
My answer is as follows. My favorite character protagonist of all time is Ella from Ella Enchanted. I've literally written and posted an entire whole essay about why Ella from Ella Enchanted is the best written protagonist of all time. If you want to read it, I can send you the link to it. I should probably revise it because I wrote it in high school, but it's still, I stand by every word of it also. And there are many reasons, but my favorite is that she is extremely talented and competent in some stuff and extremely incompetent and bad at other stuff. And that is something that we forget to do for our characters. Sometimes we make them Bella Swan and they're, oh, I'm so bad at everything. And that's why everyone likes me. No offense, Stephanie Meyer. There's more nuance to Bella Swan than that, but like that's the best example I can give of a character that's overly flawed. And then you have like Superman, who's OP, and Mary Sue or whatever. But Ella's great because she can do both. And my favorite antagonist, it's from the Cursed book series. A similar character. I don't want to talk about that series anymore in public, even though it makes me really sad. So I'm
Raven
going.
Cycle? No.
No, the books by Turk who must not be named.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah.
You guys can talk about it if you want to. I just prefer not to. No. But anyway, a similar character is the Trunchbull. She's a bad teacher.
Mhm.
A mean-spirited, awful, I live to crush kids' souls and dreams teacher is the best kind of villain because everyone has seen one of those teachers. And teachers hate those teachers. My mom is a teacher. I hope to be a teacher. And those kinds of like the specter of someone who is supposed to be your ally and your key to education and your like confidant, like someone who's supposed to be there for you and then is completely not, is the best kind of antagonist and villain. And there's no redeeming that. So, Ananya, are you ready?
Yes, I think I can do this. Also, I really like the Ella Enchanted being your favorite protagonist because I love that movie so much. I think my favorite
That was the wrong choice.
It's okay. The book and the movie,
The book and the movie are just so
are
different,
like
very different.
I like the movie, but in the way that you can, in a way that is completely separate from the book because it's okay. I also like the movie. Anne Hathaway's great. Please continue.
I sound so fake right now. I have never read the book and I call myself a writer, so
Okay, I've only seen the movie either.
Favorites when I was a kid.
Oh, and please, no shade for not having read Ellen Enchanted. It is also an acquired taste like anything else, but highly recommend.
I think I will read it. I liked a lot of the similar books that came out at that time period. I guess I just don't understand why I didn't read it.
I was given it as like a birthday gift, so the only reason.
I think I'll definitely read it soon. Then I want something lighthearted. But okay, my favorite protagonist is probably Korra from Legend of Korra. I love her. I will fight for her like to the death because men on Twitter consistently misunderstand her and it pisses me off. I think it's one of the best portrayals of PTSD in not just animated cartoons, but just in mass media. I like how complicated she is. I like how she still has a lot of faith in family and she still has optimism and like she is trying her best and I love her for it. So Korra is my favorite protagonist. And then my favorite antagonist, if you can even call her that, because I don't agree that she is, but I think generally she's perceived as such, is Meryl Streep in The Devil Wears Prada. I don't think she's the villain, but I think based on common perception, she's probably one of the best written villains I've ever seen in a contemporary setting.
I very much agree. She's such an interesting figure in that movie.
Yeah, my hot take is that she's not the villain. I think Anne Hathaway's boyfriend is the villain, and all
Agreed. Yeah.
He does.
I feel like
Yeah.
Meryl mistreats her workers, so she kind of is a villain.
yes,
Your workplace
Yeah.
should not make you that stressed out.
True. All right.
I just keep like fighting you. I'm sorry. I don't mean
oh,
to.
you're good.
My favorite protagonist is Elizabeth Bennet from Pride and Prejudice. I mean, what is there to say? I'm also like half asleep. I'm so sorry. I sort of like what Emma was saying, she does have flaws, and I mean, I think she does not have any flaws, but she has flaws and you know, she's presumptuous and sort of judges people and jumps to conclusions. A mood, a vibe. But I love how snarky she is and how fun she is. She's a cool sister. And I can't, the antagonist question is hard because my favorite type of antagonist is a Zuko or sort of someone who does get redeemed, like Hardin in the Holly Black,
Cool Prince.
Yes, the Cruel Prince, who he doesn't become like redeemed. He's sort of like bad the whole time, but in a sexy way. And I'm not into like antagonist. If anything, I sort of like when a protagonist is their own antagonist. Sort of like when they get in their own way. I'm thinking of like The Social Network, for example, where what's his name? Zuckerberg is like clearly the antagonist, but he's also the protagonist. And I'm trying to think of like even when the antagonist is not a person but like a figure. Like I keep naming movies, I'm sorry, but like Dirty Dancing, where like the antagonist is ostensibly like her dad, who's like, don't hang out with the poor people, but is also the antagonist is really like class dynamics, right? So I like that sort of thing where it's not really a person, but it's either like someone getting in their own way or it's like a big societal thing. Anyway.
Love it. The next person is
My favorite protagonist is probably Rei Ayanami from Neon Genesis Evangelion. Mostly.
This is an anime.
It is an anime, but I also genuinely think it's one of the
Oh no,
like.
I'm so excited to watch it.
Oh,
It looks really good.
it.
Have you not seen it? No, I don't.
Neon Genesis Evangelion.
I am a bad animation fan and don't watch it. Anyway.
I honestly like her whole like the fact that she finds agency throughout the entire narrative, the fact that she is someone who is very aware of her lot in life, the fact that she ends the world instead of bowing down to like a man at the end of the day is awesome. Love to see it. My favorite antagonist, Nate Jacobs from Euphoria. Fucking such a well-written bad guy. Such a well-written bad guy. Like I have never like watching that show, I will never catch that high again. Like watching it as it was coming out, like summer of 2018. And I was just like, I was ready to fight the TV screen every time he jumped up. And that is the sign in my head, at least, like a well-written antagonist. Like if you yourself want to fight them, yeah.
It is on site with this picture.
It is on site with this picture, man.
Anyway. Who was I saying it was on site with this picture? John Mayer.
Yes, I'll fight
Swifties
him
unite.
too.
Anyway,
Swiftie
sorry. That
solidarity.
is a complete non sequitur. I need to stop pulling focus by talking about it. Please talk about your favorite protagonist.
Yeah, so my favorite protagonist, and you hear me like never shut up about her if you follow me on Twitter, is Harrow Harkness Gisemis from the Locked Tomb trilogy. She is a little lesbian goth depression goblin who hates herself and loves bones and planning and doesn't understand friendship. And I'm just like, yes, I would die for you. Most relatable character in fiction. My favorite, what?
Sounds like my D&D character. I'm sorry. I'm not I need to stop.
My favorite villain is Xenocia Galvas from the Final Fantasy MMO. He's like the Prince of Fantasy Rome. He's good at everything, but he's so bored with his life that the only thing he lives for are his fights with the protagonist. And I just think that kind of like intensity and single-mindedness is really cool in a fictional character.
I also love the idea of a character that is so bored that they must choose chaos.
I think my favorite protagonist, like just going all the way back to middle school, is just Artemis Fowl from Artemis Fowl, just this mad, evil kid genius who will do anything and has like an enormous bodyguard who can kill a man in 3 different ways, but only one is necessary. And yeah, like he'll take over the world, but then like he gets, and he's like still evil, and then like in the later books he's like a little less evil. So we love that character growth. And I think I also kind of like antagonists to like get redeemed. There are people who are like, okay, I can't swear, but like they would really like.
You can swear.
Okay, they're villain fuckers. They would
No one
like.
told Christelle.
Yeah.
Stella's been swearing the entire time. Yeah.
They would like to fuck the villain, and I'm like, the villain would kill me, and I'm not into that. So, so I think spoiler is for The Good Place, but I love Michael so much. So and spoilers for The Good Place.
I'm crying. I
Good
love
show.
it.
Such a good show.
I still have to watch it.
Every
Oh,
time
no.
I
Oh,
think
yeah.
about The Good Place,
Everyone tells me.
every time I think about The Good Place, my heart is everything is a little bit better.
So we do have a question from the chat, actually. Kira just says OTP. So it's our classic what is your OTP question? If you happen to not know what an OTP is, it just means two characters that you want to date. So yeah.
So you don't want to date them. It's the
No,
pairing.
that you want them to date each other. Yeah, the most.
My favorite example from television is, of course, Eleanor and Chidi from The Good Place.
Oh, speaking of The Good Place.
Yes, there is, but for me, there isn't. It's the best example I've ever seen of two characters who are complete opposites and don't make any sense together, making complete sense together, but it not being problematic. Like, there are ways where that's done, but it just ends up being problematic because they put two opposite people together for the drama. You know what I mean? But in The Good Place, they just come together because they have common purpose and they learn to have the same values, and it's just beautiful. And I'm gonna cry if I talk about that. From books, the ship in Persuasion by Jane Austen is extremely good. Persuasion is for best book. I know that's a hot take.
I agree.
But it is a very, because it's the most adult romance that Austen has ever written. And as a result, I related to it a lot more as I felt myself getting older and having more mature perspectives on relationships. Worth a read if you can stand Austen's prose, which, as we've discussed earlier today, some people simply cannot, which is extremely valid. There's a movie coming out. Please watch it. Yes, we can talk about it later. So, Ananya, I don't know if you're ready for that, but
Yes. Okay. My favorite TV OTP or just in general, I really like Nick and Jess from New Girl. I
Yeah.
think that is another example of best friends that sometimes mess up, but always come back and fix it. And they're not great at communicating, but they learn. So I really like how they grew up together, and seeing Nick grow up especially was really nice. And the fact that he did it without his girlfriend being his mom was something I really, really liked in their relationship. For books, I think every book I've been reading recently has been a romance. I guess they're all OTPs by like the first chapter. But the one that really stuck out when I was 12, Maxon in America from The Selection. I can't read those books now for my life. But when I was 12, I would pretty much die for them. I had like a Tumblr account for them. It was a whole thing. I love that OTP, even now.
Cameron, you were next.
My like computer like brought up my like slideshow from earlier. Anyway, I would say I would say the Dirty Dancing main couple is like my movie or TV OTP, even though I imagine they didn't stay together after she left the villa or whatever it was. I imagine that ended pretty fast. But I just like how they both discovered so much about themselves like during the movie. And my book one would be Nick and Charlie from Heartstopper. I just think they're sweet. I love it. I always feel so happy reading it. And I feel like a lot of times when there's a romance novel, like the conflict is so messy and sort of toxic. And you're like, why are you together? You guys seem to hate each other. And in Heartstopper, they are just like, it's they like clearly love each other, but it's just them working through issues together, and the author clearly loves them too, so I love them for that.
Yes. So I'm not like a big like romance person. I wouldn't say like that's like the type of novel that I gravitate towards, but this again, like I mentioned, my favorite book ever, A Little Life, and my OTP is also from that, Jude St. Francis and Willem Ragnarsson. That is like just hands down, like that is such a special type of love that is portrayed there, something that evolves over decades, something that is patient, something that allows you like to grow or to not grow, like depending on your own ability, depending on your own emotional needs. And like, I don't know, the love that was portrayed there was insanely good. I just, chef's kiss.
Oh my God, this is so hard because like I am a very basic enemies to lovers fan, so I'm trying to think of something that won't start discourse in the chat.
I mean, we all love enemies to lovers. I feel like a lot of fans here for that.
I'm gonna go with the main couple from The Untamed. I think they're just such a cute like combination of chaotic ADHD person and like non-chaotic autistic person, and they just work together so well even though they're so different. And for book, I'm gonna be basic. I'm gonna say Jude Carden. It's a classic. Wait, no, Catradora, hands down.
Catradora. Okay.
I don't know what that is. What is that?
Catra and Adora from She-Ra. It's if you saw a few years ago, a cat lesbian and like one with blonde hair, and they were kissing, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, cartoons invented gays," or I don't know. Maybe I won't talk about this anymore. I'll get incoherently obsessive. Anyway, Miranda, what's your OTP?
I would have to say Power of the Wax because I lovers. Yeah. I have to speak to the characters, the fire, water, the parallel. It was set up so perfectly. And for a book, I'll have to go with Percy and Annabeth because they really did it all. It was like annoyances, lovers, a little bit like at the start, like friends and lovers, felt the Charterists together, like they were the blueprint. So
it's like the perfect example of what it would really be like to find like your soulmate when you're in middle school. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like if you were to find the person you were ultimately supposed to end up with in middle school, you probably would have hated them because that's just how affection expresses itself in many middle schoolers. And I feel like it was just very true. It was very correct. It's very good. It's very true. Do we have any questions in the chat?
We don't in the chat. We have, of course, our classic Panera question, as I call it, left. But other than that, I don't have any questions written down. Do you, Emma?
So we have time. Do you guys have any questions just for the group at large?
Yeah. Oh no, I know what it means. I just want to know.
Well, I don't want to end this. I guess we could end early and read.
I have a standard writing question.
Yes, please.
Plotter, panther, or both, or some form
Ooh,
combination.
yes. Good question. I tried to be a pantser and have never finished a book. So that's clearly not working for me. So I have outlined now 2 books. I outlined a book with Christelle, and I have outlined a book that I'm writing by myself. I also haven't finished those. So maybe that's not working for me either. We'll see. But I am making more progress in those books, and the idea of working on them is less scary because I already know what's going to happen. So I just need to sit down and do it, which is scary.
So yeah, so just to, I don't know if everyone heard, the question was plotter or pantser. Like, do you plan your books or do you just write them?
And then, or some combination there. And like, what is your game
Yeah.
plan process, or is there one? are starting a novel. Ananya, do you have a response?
Yes, I lean more towards the plotting side just because I pantsed one book, and that was one I wrote on Wattpad, and it's 120,000 words, and it's a young adult thriller, and it scarred me. I can't do that again. So I plotted the book that got me my agent and everything, but I didn't do the whole like beat sheet, character sheets. Like if you ask me my character's favorite color, I wouldn't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. But I do like to write the query before I write the book. So I know that the book has stakes because for me, I kind of write like romance novels and I hate the miscommunication trope. So if I feel like I'm going to make my two characters break up over nothing in the third act, I know I can't write the book. So for me, I outline in terms of just knowing where I want the romance to go, just general stakes, what these two characters want, but I have no idea how it ends. So a little bit of both actually.
My book is Swiss cheese. So this may not have been something you tweeted, but somebody tweeted that they hate the breakup in the last quarter so much that they put the breakup in the middle. That was you. Yes. Okay.
That was my second book is actually a breakup for like the entire middle of the book is just a breakup. And it's a lot, but it's so much fun.
If I'm remembering right, that's how Anna and the French Kiss is too. And the pacing of that book is wild, but I did find that very impressive.
Yeah, it's been hard with the pacing for me at least. I don't want to take up too much time, but definitely moving a breakup from the third act to the entire middle of the act is very interesting for pacing, but it's fun. It's a good challenge.
Yeah, fascinating. I would love to hear more. Cameron, how do you deal with the outlining question?
Yeah, it's sort of similar. I write an outline that's like 4 pages, and I don't do like a beat sheet or anything. I don't do like character outlines. I just do that. I did pants a novel, but it was like pretty much self-insert fanfic that lasted for 70,000 words. So we'll see if anything happens with that.
I'm a nose. I'm a huge plotter. Like down to the minute details of every character. It always starts in the notes app. Always starts in the notes app on the iPhone. Don't know why. But yeah, I get pretty detailed. Like one novel that we outlined, like our outline and like only the outline was over 5,000 words.
It's
When you
thick.
guys show me that outline, I was like,
yeah.
oh
You
my
were like,
god.
what?
I was like, that's absurd.
I know.
Our outline was ridiculous, and then there's like we had like an entire separate lore document.
Yes, we had an
to
entire separate
explain
lore document.
Also saw that.
The magic / supernatural stuff worked, and I'm so glad that exists because
You can always go back.
right, because we've taken a huge step back from the project just because we both got super freaking busy,
Oh,
and we
yeah.
were like, it's either this or graduate college.
Yeah,
And
we
we
were
would
like,
like
we
to
need to
graduate
graduate.
college.
Very interesting.
Ours? We can tell you all about it.
It's pretty great.
Wait till you read my insane plot one.
Yeah.
She's ready.
She has something even more unhinged.
I'm ready.
Anyway, sorry, this is completely derailed things, but I can confirm that she is a big plotter. She has converted me to the light, to the Jedi. Like,
To the Jedi.
To the light side sounds wrong, but to the dark side sounds right.
What a woman.
And I'm so sorry.
Anyway.
Anyway, and it is your turn. Are you a plotter or a pantser?
Yeah, so I like do free writing and then I make a list of what I want to happen and the scenes I need to write. And then I end up going through like 5 different lists and like writing a bunch of stuff that's not on the list and writing it all out of order and needing the list to remind me like, okay, what happens in what order? So I don't even know, like my process is like I'm wearing a kilt.
Please
I just have to like chime in and say I also do that, where like I will have an outline and I have things I'm supposed to write, and I'm like, wait, what if they were like star-crossed lovers, and then start doing like something completely different for like 10,000 words. Then I'm like, oh wait, I have an outline, and then I have to sort of like figure out what's going on. I do a lot of like rewriting. I'll be like, in the middle of the book, what if this were third person? And then have to rewrite everything completely. So yeah, I get that.
Why was that like wearing a kilt? A quilt.
Like pants.
Oh,
Was
I
it-
heard that.
I heard kilts too. I was like, bagpipes? I was like, bagpipes?
It's not pants, but it's not a
Thank you,
skirt,
very
but it
cool.
is like some sort of garment on the lower half of your body.
Oh, you did say kilt.
I heard kilt too, and then I was like, wait, that made sense to me. Like,
You're right.
Yeah, it's
cover it, but
pants.
not wearing pants, you know?
No, that does make sense. I love that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm a kilter.
I'm sorry, guys. I got 4 hours of sleep, and it's starting to catch up to me. I'm not a good host for this right now.
You want a little thumb or something? Like something to like
I'm
wake
gonna
you up?
go get a coffee, maybe. Ariel, do you want to ask?
Yeah, I'll facilitate the thing. Okay, the panel.
It's that.
I also know how to talk. Okay.
What?
Okay, so all right, Emma will go get a coffee, and then Miranda, have you answered, are you a plotter or pantser? Which was not meant to rhyme, but go ahead.
I am a pantser, and I think I'm still going to be a pantser into my next book, even though my first one took me almost 5.5 years just to write the first draft. Admittedly, I started that when I was 14, and the internet existed, and like Charles Dickens didn't have to distract us, so like I think I have an excuse. I managed to avoid finding out what Save the Boot was or Save the Cat was like for most of my life, even though I was recommended it very heavily on my Twitter. And then for pitch tours, my mentors were like, "We're gonna have you make a beat sheet." I was like, "Oh my god, I've been forced to learn plotting." But I think I will still pants because I love discovering things as I go along, and I really like it when just things like come together, when they resolve magically, and I'm like, wow, I'm a genius. So I think that's good.
Sorry, I put "Are we human or are we pantser" in the chat, and then I started
Not
laughing.
all the Killers reference.
And then Katie put "No, we're Scottish and have kilts," which is not necessarily human, and so I'm just like, I'm just over here.
Scottish.
Completely lost.
New conspiracy.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so we do have a question from the chat from Katie, who asks, what is the fastest time you have written a first draft of a book? And is that book something you still want to edit and fix, or has it been hidden from daylight?
Aaron. You're not one of us, but you want to answer?
11 days.
Oh my
Holy
god.
shit!
It was 75,000 words, and my hand was swollen for a week.
I'm sorry, who wrote a book in 11 days?
Aaron.
Emily.
Emily.
Oh my-
Emily. Okay, I was like, who do we have here?
Aaron, I am mortified right now.
That's fine. Okay,
Sorry.
11 days. Wow. All right.
That is amazing.
She handwrote it.
Oh,
I was there and it was
wild.
You were not there.
I can hardly do the assignments in school anymore. After a year online, I'm like tired writing my name.
I bet.
It hurts so much.
You're like Joe
How
March.
did you just like no sleep, just
No,
ran
I
through
got
it?
up in the morning and then I wrote all day. This was my master's thesis, and I was like, okay, I want to have it wholly written, and then I want to have it typed for my professor by the end of the month.
It
So-
was the wildest thing because I saw her starting her journey and literally a week or like a week and a half later, she was like, I'm done. And I was like, that's impossible.
And you're lying straight to my face.
It was not good,
But it was still done.
Right.
That's what matters.
but it was done. I remember I was writing during the bad time, and writing like with tears in my eyes, like.
Okay, well, I don't think we're gonna have anyone writing in a shorter amount of time than that, but Ananya, do you want to go ahead, share your own stories of writing fast, the
Yeah.
fast you wrote? Yeah.
I can't beat that. I can't even come close. I attempted NaNoWriMo in 2017 to procrastinate on taking my SAT, and that was the fastest I've ever written a book because nothing motivates you like not taking a standardized test for college. So 26 days, 65,000 words, never going to see the light of day. It was a very bad book, but it was the book I wrote before I wrote my good book, and that took me about 4 months. So
4 months. Quick.
Yeah.
I wrote my college entrance essay about how many times I failed it since starting.
NaNoWriMo, yeah.
Yeah, I've never won. So I am impressed.
That's
deeply.
fine. Nano's
Never mind.
weird. Okay, Cam, what is your fastest book time?
Everything is a blur. I think I've done like 15 or 20 days. I don't know exactly. I know it was like something like that. And I say 15 to 20 because I know it starts to blur together at the end. That book's never seen the light of day. I don't know. No.
Okay, Christelle?
Oh God, this is not impressive. Like 4 or 5 months, like you know, it's just like very standard, like nothing crazy. Like
You read really fast.
I do
but
read really
I feel like
fast.
you write things all in one draft though.
that is also true. Like I don't know how to take like breaks in between writing. I will like sit down and I will like not sleep. Like that's why I asked. Like, did you not sleep? Because I will physically, I just won't sleep. I'll just be like, all right, time to go. And then only when it's done do I go like.
2 a.m. This new idea.
No, literally, you know, because like people, you get texts from me at like 3 a.m. all the time. Like,
So, like,
I have an idea. I'm on the notes app as I speak.
Yeah, you're like, I'm on my
and I'll be like,
215
cool, good
bullet
night,
point
and then I'll
on the
wake up to
outline.
something really cool, which is always fun. Ennis, Happy Demon.
Yeah, one time I wrote like 8,000 words of thinly veiled Star Wars fan fiction between like about December and March. Was it good? No, but I self-published it and like enough of my Twitter followers bought it.
That book was good. What are you talking about? Is that the one I read? That's a good book.
But anyway, the thing about self-publishing is like you don't really have to worry as much about whether something's good or not. You're just like, yeet.
You kind of needed Carmen.
Yeah,
That was forever ago.
I was a child.
Maybe I
I,
shouldn't be mentioning.
please don't.
I liked it.
Eh.
It was good given
That I
you
was
wrote
a
it in like
child.
4 or 5 months and then we're just like, I'm just gonna eat it. I'm just gonna do it. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Oh, but like 16-year-old me.
It was fun.
Ugh.
It was a fun time.
I'm better
Remember
now.
Our theology teacher asked you if it was based on true events, even though it was about a murder.
Yeah. One of my theology teachers was like, Christelle, like I read this. And I was like, oh, I don't know why you would do that. And she was like, is this based on true events? I'm like, yeah, where's Nikki Verzi? She's missing. I killed her in the woods last month. Like, what? Come on.
I was gonna say, a lot of people It comes full
It comes full circle.
You are responsible for his trauma.
No!
You
would like to see me in his office hours.
Or you can talk.
Or I can, one or the other. He doesn't care.
Okay, Miranda, please.
Yeah, I have nothing. I like I just said my last answer. It took me almost 5.5 years to write the first draft of my book, and that is the only book I have done. So probably I win the longest time it's taken to write a book, and hopefully the next one takes less time.
I think it will. I feel like once you get your first one done, it's easier. Is that true? I'm curious now.
Or I've heard.
I mean, my first book, it was terrible, but I didn't know because I was 13. Now I have standards, so it's much harder. Like,
That's such a no. Oh my
We
god.
go through the order, and you guys can tell us if it's easier or harder to write your second book.
I have had so much trouble writing my second book. I am so open about this because when your first book or my first book that did well, I am now constantly comparing myself to a book that's in its final draft to a book that doesn't exist. And overcoming that like self-imposed imposter syndrome makes writing a second book awful. But once you really get into it and stop comparing yourself, I feel like it starts flowing and you start to know why you're a writer again. But that adjustment period is awful. Yeah.
It's a little different for me because I wrote I think my second and my third books before I got edits for the first book. So like the book that I'm writing after all of that, yeah, is very difficult. It's just not my second, it's whatever number. It's really difficult though. I keep like half writing ideas and then scrapping them because like Ananya was saying, like you're always sort of comparing it to the other books and like what if this is too similar? And then for me, I keep being like, is this commercial enough? Is this marketable? Um, just really annoying. I'm like, I don't want to write anything with plot. And my agent's like, they're not gonna buy that. So it's been difficult.
Yeah, sorry, just gonna jump in there. That marketable one really hit. I feel like I'm always like, are people gonna buy this? Am I still writing for me? And then going through that spiral when you're supposed to be writing is so unnecessary. But
Yeah, it's because you go from a shift from like for me anyway. I don't know if it was the same for you. Like I felt so much more confident with the other three books that I wrote because I wrote them like pretty much the people seeing them are me and my agent. So like now knowing, oh, people are gonna see this and may or may not buy this, there's a lot more pressure on the process.
yeah, so that was my experience right now too. So I completely get that.
Christelle and I are currently writing yours. So
Yeah,
we shall see.
we shall see.
Clearly it's taken longer than Carmen. That's also because
I mean, it's a collaboration. Like, I can't like put a deadline on you. Like,
exactly.
it's best to be
I've
vibes
been,
only.
I've been the slow person in this dynamic duo because I have a really hard time focusing on more than one thing at once because I have a hard time focusing on anything at all, like clinically so. I'm really excited now that I'm kind of in a groove post college. Oh yeah. Ennis, how about you? Was your second book?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely gotten a lot easier because like I know what I did wrong with the first one. So I'm like, okay, all I have to do is not make those same mistakes. I'm probably gonna end up making completely new and exciting mistakes. Hey, that's how you learn.
And you're still in the process as well. So.
Yeah, I have just one completed book, and I am between books, but I think it will be easier in terms of hopefully it will be faster. And I'm just excited for all my future ideas. I think they're really sexy and really hot. So yeah, and I'm excited to write something that like I have spent like a billion time. I feel like billion hours just looking at this book. So I would like something to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do have only one more minute left. We might go a little bit over because we have a very important traditional question, which is, so we have a history of eating Panera bread at Chapter One Con. So we always ask our speakers, if you were to compare yourself to a Panera bread menu item, what would it be? If you've never been to Panera bread, you can just pick like a food, but we love Panera, so yeah.
I feel like a love-hate relationship.
Well, they did turn into a ghost for us that time when we ordered it from a Panera and it didn't exist.
Yeah, it turned out we ordered Panera from a Panera that had closed already.
Yeah.
And they never refunded us.
Yeah,
So
Panera disappeared on us. But we still love them anyway. It's really an enemies to lovers romance. Yeah.
150K words.
Yeah. That's gonna be my new book. So yeah, so if you have a Panera bread item in mind, you can go ahead.
I've been waiting for this question. It's one I can answer with full confidence. You know, the tomato soup, but in the bread bowl specifically. So I think that's what I would be because I'm entirely basic. Most people order it because they don't know what else to order and it's the safest option on the menu. But the bread bowl makes you feel fancy. And I think that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
It's hard because I know what I eat, but I don't know what I would be. I want to be a cinnamon roll because I'm like, no, I'm not that sweet. But I am big, you know, and brown. There you go.
There's
That's
layers.
enough. That's a cinnamon roll. Yeah.
There are layers. I love it.
Isn't that a quote from Shrek? Like, there's layers. You have to peel it.
It was like an onion though in Shrek.
You know what? Cinnamon rolls also have layers.
Exactly. They're the same.
Tourism check.
Sorry. I stole a line from Shrek. I'm sorry. That was not.
I'm
what I
reporting
meant
you.
to do.
Lord Farquaad.
Oh, yeah.
Lord Farquaad has been dispatched to your location.
Oh, God. He's on his way here now.
Take him a while on this way.
The Shrek plagiarism police are coming. Okay. Okay, so Christelle, what is your Panera item?
I feel like I'm that like green tea shit. Like banging. Same. Two, it's my favorite color. Like that, like love a good green. Looks good on my skin, looks good with my hair. Chef's kiss. Three, addictive in a way that it's like, when I first tried it, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. I feel like when people first meet me, they're like, I don't really understand what she's about, and she's a lot. And then they're like, wait a goddamn minute, I vibe with it. And so that's why I'm like the papaya or whatever green tea from Panera.
It's extremely good.
It's
It's
so
also
good.
my favorite, which makes sense.
Bessie vibes only.
Yes, the next person is Ennis. We've only done this 15 times. Why can't I remember?
Yeah, I would say I am the broccoli cheddar mac and cheese because I am lactose intolerant, but I have like overcome that by simply pretending that I'm not lactose intolerant.
Correct.
So I
That's a
love
mood. That's a gigantic mood.
I'm right.
I have absolutely no idea. It takes me like 15 minutes just to pick a food to order. Because I have to make the most informed decision that I possibly can. And yes, I am actually in a good place. So I'm just gonna go with bagels because you can get a lot of different flavors. So you can switch it up if you want before.
Love it. All right. We did it, Bang.
Yay! Okay, so we have done our Ask Us Anything panel. Thank you. I'm gonna turn off the live streaming in a sec. However, we do have one more trivia break because I know Kira's gotten something and Alex has gotten something, and then Brett and Sam are off in the abyss somewhere. So we'll just figure out later what they want.
I'm probably gonna watch this on playback, so they'll get the recordings and they'll watch those. In which
Yeah.
case, I will just send them the PowerPoint.
Yeah, we'll figure it out with them later. But any in-person attendees that didn't get anything, you can figure it out. But let me,
right?
what?
I think everyone got one.
Everyone got
Oh,
one.
everyone got one. Okay, in that case, we can skip the last trivia break then. I had a question about Pride and Prejudice because I figured everyone would know that one. Yeah, I never know what people will know. Like last year I was asking a bunch of poetry questions because I love poetry, and everyone was like, what's that? And I was like, you don't know Langston Hughes? Like, why? Who are you?
They have disappeared.
Ariel, tell me you were an English major without telling me you were an English major.
Whatever. Okay, so thank you everyone for attending. I'm gonna end the live stream and we shall finish up over here. So end stream.